What's up guys, it's the Jersey Jaguar and I'm back at you with another video. Well, in today's video, it's going to be a little bit more of an advanced topic. We're going to go over how to remove ghosting from a jersey. Ghosting sounds strange, right, on a jersey? Well, it's actually kind of common. When you remove the letters, numbers, patches, etc. from a jersey, you're usually going to get a faint image left behind. Now, the faint image could be for multiple reasons, such as the material being pulled and stuck there for so long. It could be that there's dye left over, that there's glue left over. There's a lot of different reasons. So in this video, we're going to cover the most basic, and it's just from an indentation from where the numbers and letters were. All right, guys, right now we're going to go into the materials and products being used. Let's get to it. All right, so before we get into the preparation part of the video, what we're gonna do is go over the cans and cannots part first, all right? And I'm referring to what we can get out and what we cannot get out in terms of ghosting. So we'll start with the cans. Being in this jersey, we can remove this ghosting. Guys, you can remove ghosting that has adhesive and residue left over. If it's clear, you could get it out, and if it has even a little bit of dye from the twill in the adhesive, not the jersey, but into the adhesive that's on the jersey, you could get that out too. You could get the indentations and those little tiny puncture marks from the stitching machine. You could get that out, all right? So in this specific scenario, we have lifting and different surface height slightly of the jersey and a slight bit of adhesive on there. All right, guys, we'll go over both of those in this video. All right, what you cannot get out is if this part of the jersey that didn't have a number or letter on top of it oxidized or faded, and now it's a different color than this part of the jersey. And the reason being is because that is permanent, just like on any item, regardless if it's a jersey or, for example, on headlights on a car. Once they turn yellow and oxidize, almost impossible to get out. All right. Same thing on the jersey. Once it oxidizes and turns a different color from oxidation process, you cannot get it out. If the dye from the twill bled into the jersey and it re-stained or re-dyed the jersey a new color, you cannot get that out, all right? If it's partially stained or if it's just a really tough, stubborn stain, you could get it out. But if it's fully into the jersey and re-dyed it, basically, in the part that it's in, you cannot get that out. All right, that will not come out. It's near impossible. Also, too, if you accidentally tear the jersey or rip it when you're stripping it, that will never be the same. You could repair it, but it's never gonna be the same like it was. Best case scenario, when you get a number kit or letter kit, tell them to make it a little bit bigger, and hopefully it'll cover up that mark. If it's on a part that it won't cover, you're just gonna have to get the jersey repaired or leave it as is with a gash or a slash or a tear in it. All right, guys, so in this video, the prime component we're going to be using is a Turbo Extreme Steamer by Conair. Now, guys, it doesn't have to be this one specifically, but just keep in mind that a steamer is going to be your best friend from removing ghosting. All right, guys, we're also going to be using basic dish detergent. We're going to be using Max Force OxyClean, and we're going to be using a toothbrush. Now, guys, before we get started into the actual techniques and how to remove ghosting, I just want to say that part of it's going to have to use hand washing, and I'm going to post a link in the description, not only for these materials, but I'm going to post a link in the description for videos that I put up of hand washing and spot washing jerseys. Is going to help you out with that section. All right, so now we're going to actually get to the preparation part of the video, and guys, this is going to be across the board, pretty much for all ghosting when you strip letters and numbers off of jerseys. And again, I will post a link in the description on how to strip jerseys if you don't know how to, or if you haven't seen my video already. So guys, when you strip jerseys, there's gonna be a bunch of little tiny threads left over, and you're gonna have to pull them out. So in this situation, it's not too bad. If you use a seam ripper, you're gonna have a bunch of these little tiny ones, which I hate. It's a pain in the butt to get out. All right, or if you use my preferred method in my stripping video with an X-Acto knife and you're careful, you get these long ones and you pull them, and it takes a big portion of the threading out. All right. That's another reason why I like the X-Acto knife. Again, so right here I use an X-Acto knife and watch. You see how it pulls out a longer thread versus a bunch of little ones. And there's still a few little ones on here because that's the way they were cut. But again, when I'm lifting these up, look at that. Right here, look how long that one was. There's no special trick to it, guys. Look at that, you see? And that's why I like using an X-Acto knife, because it keeps the threads more intact, because you just slice the top part of the surface. I used a vacuum before too, believe it or not, because there was a bunch of tiny ones when I used the seam ripper and I didn't feel like messing with it. That kind of works. The more you wash it too, the more cycles you wash it and dry it, the more they'll come out as well. So if you don't feel like picking out each one individually, throw it in the washer and they'll start to come out. And you could also wash it by hand. They'll come out too. But you guys have to make sure that they're all out. If they're not, it's still gonna leave like a little bit of an instance of ghosting in the jersey. All right, guys, so this is the steamer that I'm gonna use. I use the Conair Turbo Steam. This is the newest model from what I understand. Guys, use distilled water in here. Do not use regular water, because what will happen is you will calcify the head of it, all right? And eventually it's not gonna be able to work anymore. Because like in tap water, there's minerals and they build up eventually. So always use distilled water in these guys, all right? I like starting off on a low setting on steam, and then I work it up all the way to the highest setting, because if you start with the highest setting, it'll start to shoot water out the front. So start with the low setting and work your way up. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start to remove the ghosting. Now guys, as you can see up here on the top, I stripped the name. It was pretty long. It was about 9 letters long. I stripped it and removed the ghosting in that section, so you can already see results. Guys, I have it hanging up. I have it stretched across. You don't have to do that. I'm just doing that for video purposes. So guys, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start this steamer on the low setting, all right? If you have any steamer, start it low and then put the steam on, let it come out a little bit, and then work your way up to the highest setting. And guys, all we're going to do is work the jersey like so. Really, really simple. Just go over it as close as possible. You have to be careful about touching the jersey. If you touch the head of the steamer to the jersey, sometimes you could damage it. In this situation, we're good, but I had it happen where it made a mark on the tackle twill. And if you have heat press, you will melt the heat press with the head. So come very close to it without actually touching it. But like I said, with this specific jersey, we're good. Now I'm gonna go through the opposite side. All right, so as you can see, it's already starting to come out, and guys, it is much more visible on the camera with this lighting that I have. Keep in mind, the reason why it works is because the heat and the steam shrink the fibers in the jersey, thus dissipating those little holes and deviations and indentations that it has created. Also, it loosens up the adhesive around it. So guys, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go through the first wash. Again, I'll post a link in the descriptions on how to wash jerseys. With this one, you're gonna have to use hot water, or at least the hottest as possible that the jersey will hold. Always test your jersey first. Start with warm or cool water and keep working your way up to hotter. Make sure that the material is not going to bleed the dye out of the jersey, all right? Let's get to that now. All right, guys, so real quick, I'll give a quick tutorial. I made the jersey a little bit wet. If you can use VLR, if you don't have VLR, you can use acetone or rubbing alcohol, especially for the amount of bleeding that we had. It wasn't too bad. Just get a little bit on there. That's all you need. Right away, spray either OxyClean Max Force, laundry detergent. You can even use dish detergent for this specific case. Dish detergent is good for getting out adhesive and glue. All right, guys, rub it in real quick, and then you want to work fast, right? And again, always test the material before using the products. I already did in this case, so we're good. Test the jersey first, again, to make sure that it can withstand hot water and these chemicals. Test the unnoticeable part of the jersey. All right, guys, so make sure you want to scrub that whole area that the ghosting was in. And if you don't have a steamer, you could actually just keep redoing this hot water cycle. All right, you could get it out. You guys really want to scrub it. Try to get only the section that you need wet. I'm gonna end up washing this jersey in the washer anyways, so let's try it if it's getting wet. You see, there it's ghosting's already almost gone between the hot water, washing, getting the adhesive off, and the steamer. All right, so as you guys can see already after the first steaming and first wash, the ghosting is pretty much gone. We're gonna go ahead and give it one more go real quick. All right, guys, so one thing I wanted to mention is before you start re-steaming, make sure that your jersey is fully dry after washing it. All right, make sure it's fully dry, and then you can continue to the next step. So as you guys can see, the ghosting is virtually busted. I guess if I wanted to be technical, I could go one more time, but it's good like this. It just depends how strict you want to be with your jerseys. And guys, keep in mind that older jerseys or whatever the different variation is going to be in that specific jersey, it might take one shot, or you might have to give it 3 or 4 goes. It just depends. But you guys get the gist of it. Also, if you don't have a steamer, you could use an iron with a steam setting on there. And I'll do a video sometime about that. But I did it with the steamer because it is the best and the quickest way. And guys, keep in mind that there was no excess dye or anything because there were white bottom layer on the tackle twill. So it made it a lot easier not having to worry about different colors seeping in there. So as you just saw, these ghosts won't be haunting this jersey anymore. They're gone. They got busted. So guys, as you can see, removing the ghosting wasn't that hard for this specific technique and situation. But again, remember that there will be other situations to where you might have to use harsh chemicals or other procedures. I'll post a video at some point with those too. Now guys, if you like this video, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe. And more importantly, let me know if you have any questions and if there's any videos you'd like to see in the future. I'll do my best to get it done. I'll see you at the next one.